The Pixel 7 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro are the best Apple and Google have to offer in 2022. The Pixel 7 Pro is priced at $899 and the 14 Pro is $999. But which should you buy? Now the 14 Pro and the Pixel 7 Pro, even though they are similar in nature, they are built very different in terms of their features. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the build quality, the performance, the battery life, the software, and the cameras of both these phones, and hopefully give a different perspective on the Pixel 7 Pro and the iPhone 14 Pro. Now let's talk about the price. Now as I said, the Pixel 7 Pro is a huge $100 difference from the iPhone 14 Pro, and that already puts it in a better position in my opinion. $899 is not exactly the cheapest phone, but it makes a huge difference when looking for a smartphone in 2022. Furthermore, with Black Friday on the horizon, it's almost certain that there will be discounts. Unlike the iPhone 14 Pro, Apple doesn't really reduce the prices of their phones at all. But where the iPhone has an upper hand is in its resale value. Now the iPhone 14 Pro will most likely sell higher in a year than the Pixel 7 Pro. Now when it comes to how they look and feel in your hand, there are subtle differences. For one, the iPhone 14 Pro has a square design with a stainless steel frame, making it quite an uncomfortable phone to use due to the sharpness of its edges. The Pixel 7 Pro, on the other hand, has a curved form factor with an aluminum frame. Now the ironic part is, the Pixel 7 Pro is heavier, but it doesn't feel that way at all. Secondly, in my humble opinion, where the Pixel 7 Pro shines the most is the back of the phone. Now, let's be real. The design of the Pixel 7 Pro is a lot better than the iPhone 14 Pro. It just feels a lot more modern and futuristic. Whereas the iPhone 14 Pro is dated with the same design as the iPhone 10 in 2017. Now, don't bite my head off. Remember, you are the one that clicked on this video. Both phones are scratch resistant and can withstand a hard drop on a hardwood floor, but I keep a case on mine just to be on the safe side. On the sides of the Pixel 7 Pro, the power button and the volume button are on the right hand side, giving it a more seamless look, whereas the 14 Pro has the power button on the right side and the volume buttons on the left side. Now, I prefer everything should be on one side of the phone, whether it be on the left or on the right. So the Pixel 7 Pro is better for me in this regard. Now at the bottom, the Pixel 7 Pro has a USB-C port, which is more universal and accommodating because everything is USB-C right now, but the iPhone 14 Pro still has that lightning cable. I guess you have to stand out somehow. Speakers on both phones are pretty loud and good enough to listen to music and your podcast, so you have nothing to worry about. The displays on both these phones are great and similar. They both have an LTPO panel with a 120Hz refresh rate, and they both have HDR10. But where they differ is in their height, their peak brightness, and of course the always-on display. The height difference between these two phones is very significant. Now the Pixel 7 Pro is 6.7 inches, while the iPhone 14 Pro is 6.1 inches. The 0.6 might not be a problem for some, but for others it might just be too big. Now, when it comes to the brightness, both phones are bright, but the iPhone produces more with the 2000 nits of peak brightness to the Pixel's 1500 nits. The always-on display, in my opinion, is better suited to the Pixel 7 Pro. It's an always-on display and not a sometimes-on display. At first hand, I hated it because I thought it was too bright for an always-on display. Compare that with the Pixel 7 Pro and you can see the difference immediately. Now, for a lot of people, it's going to take a lot to adjust to because for many years, Apple and the iPhone have basically told you that when your screen comes on, there is a notification. So you find yourself constantly looking at your phone from the corner of your eye. If you had the Pixel 6 Pro and you're wondering about the battery life, I'm here to give you good news. The battery is significantly and miles better than the Pixel 6 Pro. With the same 5000 mAh of battery optimization outside the box is great and you don't need adaptive battery to kick in for it to work. However, the battery on the iPhone 14 Pro is better because it has a smaller battery capacity but gives the same battery experience. The 14 Pro is a 3200 mAh of battery, and it just goes to show how optimized it is on iOS 16. And speaking of optimization, the iPhone 14 Pro has the new A16 Bionic chip, whereas the Pixel 7 Pro has the new Tensor G2 chip. Now, what do they do, you may ask? For the Pixel, even though the G2 is basically the Snapdragon 865, it does way more than raw power like a lot of people want you to believe. The new and smarter Tensor G2 chip will bring better and faster processing to your pictures, better battery optimization, video improvements to the camera, and improvements to the already brilliant text-to-speech feature. This is hands down the best feature on the phone because it is faster than typing and it works with most accents and enunciations, as well as detecting pauses when you speak, and many more. There is also going to be an inbuilt VPN within the phone that lets you protect your private information when browsing and online transactions. My favorite new feature on the Pixel 7 Pro is clear calling. It basically diminishes the noise and isolates your voice so that other people can hear you very clearly. And like always, Google has promised 5 years of security updates. The A16 Bionic this year has improved with its performance of that dynamic island. Now here are a few examples of what you can do with it. Now when listening to music, you can adjust the controls of the music by pressing and holding it. You can also get into the current apps in the background by tapping it. Now I love how when you exit the app, it slides back into the bar very smoothly. For calls and timers, you can access them here as well. With timers, you can see the countdown without having to go into the app. Now a lot more apps need to be optimized for the dynamic island, like SoundCloud for example. And I'll say this would be around first quarter of next year till we see more apps that are comfortable with it. Now, I don't really have anything bad to say about the dynamic island. Well, maybe it's a bit more intrusive when watching videos than the notch, but I see my eyes adjusting to them as time goes by. Now, this is just basically Android versus iOS, and your choice depends on the preference and what ecosystem you are currently in. Now, when it comes to the cameras, it is a section where most people are divided. Some say, oh, the iPhone is better. Oh no, the Pixel is better. Look man, I'm not going to even lie to you. I'll tell you this for free. There is no high-end smartphone in the world right now that takes terrible pictures. It's almost impossible. However, there are a few things each phone does better than the other. Now the Pixel 7 Pro, for example, takes better images with the front-facing camera and the rear camera than the iPhone, period. Both in daytime and nighttime shots. Now from a user perspective, you will get great pictures with both these phones. Now when I tested them, they give good color accuracy, vibrant in good lighting conditions, and that also goes for the portrait mode and the ultra wide mode. Although on the ultra wide, the Pixel 7 produced more detail than the iPhone 14 Pro. The telephoto lens has been improved on the Pixel 7 Pro and has that super rare zoom of 30x, while the iPhone 14 Pro maxes out at 15x. Now it is a huge improvement on the Pixel, but I wouldn't worry about it too much because once the novelty wears off, you barely will use this feature. Now what the iPhone does better is video recording. It is hands down still the king of video on any smartphone. Now if you want to start out as a content creator and you're on a budget, you should really consider the iPhone 14 Pro in that regard. This is the iPhone 14 Pro in cinematic mode using the inbuilt microphone. What do you guys think? Is it worth the money at all? And also it's cold as hell outside, so I'm trying to do this video really quickly. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Finally, we have cinematic blur on the Google Pixel 7 Pro. What do you guys think? Is this better than the iPhone 14 Pro? Let me know down in the comments. And I am also using the inbuilt microphone on the Pixel 7 Pro. Is the sound better also? Let me know in the comments. It is cold as hell, so I'm gonna go back inside my apartment. So which of these phones is better value for you? Now, if I am being honest, you can't really go wrong with any of them. Both phones offer something different that the other one doesn't. Now, the iPhone is great with its battery life, video recording, and display, while the Pixel 7 Pro excels with the Tensor G2 chip, a better camera for taking pictures, customizations, and of course, the new features. Either choice would be great, and you will not be disappointed. Now, thank you guys for watching this video, and if you found any value at all, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. My name is KJOS, and I will catch you guys in the next one where I talk all things tech.